gaslighters, you had so many people that would pretend like, okay, they told on themselves, we know, because they were in opposition to this so strongly, right? Public education and them being able to, specifically in Florida, be able to teach sexuality. But you had that gaslight of a lot of weirdos saying that this was never happening in the first place. So what are you worried? So why would you even advocate that? You're just trying to punish. This is an internalized homophobia and all these other buzz terms that they would use. But check this out. There is an example of this in Florida, and this teacher has just recently been fired. We're going to read this. A Florida teacher claims that she was fired after discussing her status as pansexual with students earlier this spring. Cape Coral Middle School art teacher Casey Scott claims that students were curious about sexual orientation. No, they weren't. And that she had the conversation with them back in March, which she followed by telling the students to draw pictures of their sexual orientations. What is wrong with these fucking people, man? The subject matter angered some parents and students who wrote the administrators to voice their displeasure, the New York Post reported. Scott, who was working on a probationary basis and not part of the teachers union, was eventually told to not return to campus and that her contract was being terminated. A discussion happened in class, and because of that, now I'm fired. This is what they claimed in a NBC2 interview. I like anyone despite male, female, binary, transgender. Again, nobody gives a shit, and the fact that you feel like you have to reiterate this to your students is a fucking problem. Again, remember, they're using these children and young people that you guys drop off at these indoctrination camps. They use them to validate themselves in their own individual existence. The Lee County School District said Scott was fired from Trafalgar Middle School because she did not follow the mandated curriculum. Scott reportedly displayed the pictures that her students drew of their sexual orientations for everyone in the school to see and was told to take them down. They said it would be in best interest if I got rid of them now. I went over to the recycling bin, grabbed all their flags, and all the kids were staring at me, and I crumbled their flags in front of them. The firing came just days before Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed the parental rights in education bill into law, which strengthens parents' rights to make decisions about how their kids are educated. So we know about what's in it. So basically, this person was it's an art fucking teacher. An art teacher. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? An art teacher had students draw pictures of their sexuality. And apparently she thought that that was appropriate. And she was fired. Again, it's pretty on the nose, having to do with basically you built that into your the curriculum. Now, I'm not saying that it was like the educational systems curriculum had her do that, but she built it in. And she had them draw their sexuality, whatever the fuck that means, which seems to be like to purposely confuse or other children. So my thing is this. As more stories like this come up, do not allow these people, again, it's textbook gaslighting, where they say, well, this is a problem, this exists, or you say that, and they act as if that's not a thing. They say, well, you're being paranoid. You just want to target gay people. You want to target people of various gender that identify as various things. This is not really a problem. This is not really taking place. But then we see examples, and we've seen previous examples of this taking place. We've seen previous examples of, and I've showed that one, for example, trans teacher who was in some fucking Zoom meeting, a Zoom with like meet the teacher type of Zoom stuff, something like that. And of course, he has to yell from the mountaintops that the trans. It's like nobody asked. But why are you doing that? That's not like appropriate. And again, it's because these guys see themselves as important people that need to be validated by children's existence, which is why they want so, and of course that spongy audience of children who that's a perfect audience for them to use to validate themselves on adults of not, I don't want to say unlikely, but far less likely than what young people are to just join whatever weird thing that they're into or be used to validate their existence. It's criminal, but to be fair, I've also had to be critical of other folks who continue to drop their children off despite knowing this type of stuff is existing. At what point do you also participate in your child's abuse when you know that's the weird stuff is going on, yet you still cockily enough drop and not the good kind. You continue to drop them off at those indoctrination camps. There has to be some level of responsibility on the parents as well. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.